Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 11th to the 17th of July 2016. We're still in the 2-week window that opened up with the new moon in Cancer. So we've had lots of energy in Cancer, the Sun, Mercury and Venus all travelling through that homely, security-loving, mother-nourishing sign. And we're still within that window where we can set our intentions, where we can go in and purify ourselves, release the story of the past, and actually become our own mothers, become our own nourishment. But this week we have both Venus and Mercury moving across into Leo, so it's time this week to wrap up that work and to step forward into the big, bold, radiant, confident sign of Leo. But by Monday we've still got Venus in Cancer, so it's a good idea to have a look at emotional mastery and where we can actually create from our emotions. It's often very enjoyable being creative, but we can revisit the actual message. What are we trying to say? What kind of alchemy do we want to achieve? If you think of before someone's heard your song and afterwards, how have they been changed? If you think of an audience, a play, they go in one state and leave in another. There's a message that's been delivered there. So for any creatives out there that are feeling that they've got writer's block or they can't quite get to the core of their creativity, then it's worth having a look at what is actually your message, what's the emotion behind, what's the rocket fuel inside of your project, and revisit that, swim in those waters and actually get reconnected with that inside of your own cells, so that your then creative expression, whether it's singing, writing, dancing, acting, painting, can actually come from that more deep, soulful place. And if you imagine the ripples of a rock that's been thrown into water, your creativity and your alchemy, your magic, can spread further if you've got to the very centre of what it is that you're trying to express. And return back to the why you're trying to express it. What is it that you really want to say? What is it that you really feel? So we're on the cusp of this great creativity, going right back to the centre, feeling the emotion, and then as Venus steps into Leo on Tuesday, then we've got this great surging, we've got this walking out and radiating that golden light. So Venus is very happy in Leo. It's a very confident and warm-hearted and expressive, expansive sign. With all of the fire signs, because Leo is a fire sign, it is about expression of the self, but it's worth remembering over the next few weeks while Venus is in Leo, the opposite counterpart of Leo is Aquarius. So it's not just all about me, but it is about shining our own light while considering the group. What are we adding to? What's the collective glory here, and what's our part in that, rather than trying to steal all the limelight. By Wednesday, it's Mercury's last day in Cancer, so we can look back with fresh eyes over the spring and see what have we been thinking and what has it created. Because when Mercury moves into Leo, that will start to manifest those creations. So the same principle that we've just spoken about with Venus, but going back to the thoughts rather than the emotions first, and see what have we been thinking, what has it led to, because we can have a belief which becomes a thought pattern, which then becomes a behaviour or an action, and then creates something in the real world. So if our thoughts aren't aligned, if they're not aligned with our heart, or if the core beliefs are wrong, then we end up creating something in our real world, or seemingly real world, that isn't to do with what we're actually, where we're coming from. So going back and investigating our mental mastery, we've looked at our emotional mastery with Venus. Now let's wrap up the mental mastery as Mercury prepares to leave Cancer. What is the core of our belief? Is it true? What thought pattern does that create? Study the thoughts and their loop with emotions. We have an emotional compass inside, so if we're not feeling good, it can be that we're not thinking something that's in our highest alignment, and then that can create more negative feeling. So let's have a look at that. Let's just delve back into that for one more day and see, well, if our thought patterns are creating negativity, what is the core belief behind that? With the sign of Cancer, it's like going back to the womb. So last week with the new moon in Cancer, we were speaking about going back and releasing the mother not holding on to every single perception of what happened in our childhood, the lack of love or the criticism or not feeling nourished, but to go back and realise that that is our job, and to let go of the past and let go of blame of the mother, and to actually step into our own magnetic magnificence. So this doesn't have to be difficult. Just ask yourself, what's the core belief behind this? And you will be shown in one way or another throughout the day where it is that you're believing in something that needs to go, that isn't yours anymore, or that was never true. Because there's been so many changes this year. There's been retrogrades, there's been some anger and aggression come up, there's been so much stuff that's come up over this year for clearing, that we should now be starting to do that final rinse and start to feel lighter, less dense, and more space inside of us. So this is an opportunity to just dig out those last few weeds so that we're ready to expand into the creative power that is Leo. So by Thursday, Mercury moves into Leo, and now we're looking at our expression of our creativity and our confidence. But what I find with astrology is that not all Leos are confident, not all Geminis are good communicators. The attributes that are put onto them through the astrology books aren't necessarily natal. Some Leos are here to develop confidence, to actually stand up straight and shine their own light and find out how to do that. And early life experiences can often have got them stooping, have got them not believing in themselves. And as we all travel through this Leo period, we can all connect with that Leo part of ourselves, because we are all the signs. So Mercury is the wordsmith, the magician and the healer. So we can have a look where those belittling narratives have kept us small and where we're dimming our own light. We can also have a look at our body language. Do we apologise for the space that we take up? Do we turn our feet inwards or slump our shoulders? Leo's centred around the solar plexus and the heart, and if you actually stand up and point your solar plexus in an upward angle, then you automatically start to feel more confident. They say if you've got a difficult phone call to make, it helps to stand up and smile while you're making it. A smile can actually be felt across a telephone line. When we smile, we can actually hear more. Our ear passages open up and we can actually hear more as well. So there's a feeling here of body language, take up the space. Leo is like a 5-pointed star. That's why we get the 5-pointed stars on Hollywood Boulevard for the actors, because many people with a strong Leo in their chart will be an actor. They'll want to stand on stage and radiate that confidence and that creativity. But if you imagine yourself standing like a 5-pointed star, tall and taking up your space, it's your space to take. There's nothing in life that says that you have to apologise for being here or for expressing your authentic self. As we're on the cusp with Mercury from Cancer to Leo, we can have a look at negative repeat phrases to do with creativity, like, oh, I can't sing, or I'm no good at drawing, because that's something that you've picked up during your childhood. And if you keep believing that, then you make that come true. But everybody is talented in every way. Some of us are just more predestined to be able to tune a certain creative aspect of ourselves, but doesn't mean to say that we can't do all the other ones. When I work with clients, I like to work on the weaknesses as well as the strengths. So if you tell yourself I can't sing, then your whole body is going to react to that, and the cavities will vibrate and your ears won't work with your mouth, and it's just a mess. But what if you just practice toning into your body? What if you just practice running a scale and see where you feel it? There's no control mind to say, is this good enough? Are people going to judge me? There's just an essence of getting back to the vibration of the sound in your body. With drawing, it doesn't have to be a lifelike replica of something, but what about just expressing shapes and curves and colours on a page, again without that judgment? So Leo likes to stand tall and strong, doesn't want to be told that it has to apologise for itself or dim its light. And if we keep that Aquarian balance in place that I was talking about earlier, so that we don't become braggadocious, egotistical, and take up other people's space, if we actually say, I am here and so is everyone else, but let me play my part, then we can actually expand with the warm rays of Leo. Coming towards the weekend, we have Venus meeting with Mercury in Leo. But just before that, there's a really delicate balance of the masculine side of the feminine and the feminine side of the masculine to be explored on Friday. So feminine is normally portrayed as water, as the emotion intuitive side, and masculine is normally portrayed as fire, as the active dynamic side. But in many myths and legends, which are actually analogies for life and expressing the different parts of ourselves, we'll see lunar gods and solar goddesses, for example. So by Friday it's good to have a look at finding that balance within. We don't have to be all one way or all the other. Where is your feminine fire? Where is your masculine water? And can you dive into the exploration of those and find calibration? And like I say, by the weekend we have Venus meeting with Mercury in Leo, so we're starting to step into Leo, and soon the Sun will be going into that sign as well. So the meeting of both of those, if we've done the Cancerian crossover with Venus, cleaning up our emotions and getting back to the point, to the sole purpose of what we're here to feel and express, and if we've gone back with Mercury and we've cleaned up those thought paths where the beliefs have led to thoughts, have led to behaviours, have led to actions, and making sure that that's in coherent alignment, then we're ready to step forward onto the stage of Leo. Leo is a very joyful sign. It's a very young and joyful sign. So quite often that's the cleanest emotion that we can actually connect with. We can still feel it. If you're smiling, if you're giggling, if you're feeling fizzy inside, then that's joy. It can't really be polluted. And the best way to steer our ship in this life is to follow our excitement, to follow our joy. A rich life is when we're spending a lot of time doing what we enjoy every day and sharing that tangible, that almost contagious energy. So we radiate passion and confidence. We work with our confidence. So if you're not confident, then this is a week to really work on that. Ask yourself, why would I not deserve to be here? Why would I never be enough? And delete that program once and for all. A good way to do that is to be grateful for your gifts. How often do we just take ourselves for granted? And it's not till we see somebody else who's honed a different talent and we put all our admiration to them. But how many times do we actually sit quietly and think, oh, I'm really grateful for my appreciation of colour, shape and form, or my ability to harmonise, or the way I can bring a character to life in a book or a play. But it's worth remembering here that not all creativity is that concrete. Creating can be creating a nice space. That could be emotionally. You could be the one that enters a group and glues everyone together, that makes everybody feel heard and appreciated. Creativity could just be creating a nice space, even in the physical realm, just going in and making somewhere feel nicer, working with the colours and the light. Creativity can be in food and gardening, and creativity can be coming up with new ways to engage with people, to play with children, or to inspire the group or the people around you. So don't think too concrete when it comes to creativity and rush to pick up the paintbrush. Have a look at where you naturally are creating an environment and a feeling, and whether you can work to expand that skill. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. These horoscopes are written up on my webpage in the stars this week at astrozo.com, and also we're working with these current energies in the private Facebook group, as well as discussing other subjects from the elections to crop circles to how to work with tarot and astrology together, and how to delve into different aspects of our own birth chart. So you're very welcome to come and find these horoscopes on my website, or come and join the online group where you can post up your chart and actually learn on a weekly basis where this is happening for you, and all those beautiful surrounding esoteric subjects that help bring this craft to light. I have a whole series of online courses, from a 1 to 3 year long astrological degree to a tarot trilogy, 2 modules working with the moon cycles and how to calculate that, and 1 feng shui course, how to actually arrange your home or your workspace in alignment with the cardinal quarters and the elements and the different herbs and crystals and sacred objects that you can use to bring more harmony to your world. And finally, if you'd like these horoscope videos on your website, I can send you the playlist link, and these will just update naturally. So if you'd like to add some content to your website and have these horoscope videos just appear, then one pasting in of that playlist link, and you won't have to do anything else. So please do contact me if you'd like that. So for any of this, please contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.